If you're planning to hike the Cape to Cape and you have a heap of questions, you come to the right place. Reception on trail, free versus paid campsites, water on trail, toilets. I've got all the information for you. Stay tuned. My name is Sam McDonald and I recently completed the 135 kilometer Cape to Cape track in 5 days. In doing so, I learned so much and I'm going to share all my knowledge with you. If there's any questions I didn't cover and specific things you want to know, hit them down in the comments below and I'll answer within the day. First question, reception on trail. Now, mind you, when I speak about this, I have an iPhone 15 and I'm with Telstra, so they have much more coverage than most other providers, so do keep that in mind. What I found when I was hiking is that I hiked from south to north, and on the northern side, probably the first 50 kilometers on the northern side, the reception was super patchy. There was many times I didn't have any reception at all, but every single campsite I went to had reception except one. Ellensbrook campsite had no reception at all, and not for any of the people that were camping as well near me. Second question, did I see any snakes on trail? Yes, I did. I saw a total of 4. I saw 3 baby snakes and 1 tiger snake on the last day. However, it was so uncommon. I probably saw a snake, if you average it out, it's probably 1 snake every 30 or so kilometers, 30 to 40 kilometers. And they really didn't bother me at all. I kept my distance whenever I saw one. I let them slither away and I had no issues whatsoever. Obviously, I kept my eyes out. I made sure that I was always looking down and listening out as well for if I could hear any rustling, etc. And I would just be very careful about where I'd be putting my feet. Third question, did you take a personal locator beacon? Yes, I wasn't going to, but I was convinced in the forums that I was a part of to do so, and I'm glad I did. Nothing happened, but it gives you peace of mind. Now, personal locator beacons or PLBs are very expensive. They can cost up to $300-400 if you want to get a decent one, but there's a solution. Go to MacPack and hire one. You don't even need to do a down deposit or anything. I hired one for a week, $45. I was in and out of there in 5 minutes with my PLB. And I think it's honestly worth it. Your life is worth more than $45. Invest the money, get a PLB. Were the water tanks full? Yes, they were full when I went there. However, they can not be sometimes, so prepare for them to not be full if you're hiking, let's say, at the heat of summer or towards the end of summer. But I was hiking at the start of March and there was still plenty of water there, so I would take it that it's going to be okay. But treat it. Take a water filter or boil your water. It's up to you. Next question, what was the hardest part of the trail? For me personally, it was Hamlin Bay Beach Walk and the incline afterwards to get into Borenup Forest. The reason why it was hard for me though was mainly because of the weather. It was the only day that I had which was over 30 degrees and I left a little later at 7 a.m. from camp. And that was a 30+ kilometer day for me, and so it drained me completely. The elements from the beach, no shade, drained me. Look at me, I'm a ginger, I'm white. The sun affects me more than most, so that was really tough. What did you eat on trail? Well, I took dehydrated meals from me that I got from Anaconda. They are dehydrated food packs. All you need to do is boil your water up, pour it in, let it sit for a few minutes, stir it up, and then you've got this nice meal. Yes, they're not the most tasty things in the world. Yes, they're not the most nourishing things in the world, but they're packed full of carbs, they're packed full of all the proteins you need, heaps and heaps of calories to keep you going on trail. And at the end of a long day, when you had that, it was like something that was welcome. I was excited for it. It might not have been fish and chips down by the beach or a chocolate bar, but it was still damn good. Itineraries. I'm going to do a separate video based on my itinerary, but in short, I did it in 5 days. Day 1 was from Cape Lewin to Deep Dean. Day 2 was Deep Dean to Contos Campground. Day 3, Contos to Ellensbrook. Day 4, Ellensbrook to a little place I found in Indijup. I'll explain later. And on the final day, Indijup to Cape Naturalist, my finish point. Also, if you're getting any value from this, it would really mean a lot to me if you please hit the like button. Give me a subscribe as well if you find this valuable, and I'd love to answer any and all questions you have in the comments below. Now let's move to the next location so I can answer more of your questions. Why did you decide to hike the Cape to Cape and do it solo? Well, I didn't want to do it solo initially. I did invite a lot of friends and family, but it is so hard to get work off, commitments, and weirdly enough, hiking 135 kilometers to most people sounds crazy. I don't know why. To me, it sounds pretty cool, but a lot of people were like, I would never do that, which surprised me, but each to their own. Why did I hike it though? I was hiking for a cause. There's an organization called Tenacious House, which is in the northern suburbs here in Perth, Western Australia. And that organization supports those with addiction and life-controlling issues and helps them reintegrate back into society. I'm very passionate about that organization. I wanted to play my part, and my goal was to raise $1,000 for it, and I achieved that goal. So I achieved my money goal of $1,000 and I hiked Cape to Cape in 5 days, which was my goal. So overall, it was a very successful trip, and I can't wait for the next fundraiser trip / hike, which I'll be doing early next year. I'm just planning exactly which place to go to. So if you got any ideas, hit me up below. All right, guys, next question. How did I prepare for the hike? Well, I did a lot of running, to be honest. I did a lot of 5K runs, 10K runs. I'm already a naturally fit guy. I just kind of boosted the cardio. And then I did a lot of walking with my pack on beach sand. And honestly, I probably didn't do enough beach sand walking, but just walking in general, getting the steps increasing over time leading up to the hike is a good way to go. What is the difficulty of the track? It changes. The terrain changes so rapidly, and the incline and decline and the beach walking can really contribute. There'll be times where you're doing easy walking along coastal cliffs. It's pretty flat, it's compact, it's nice. And then all of a sudden you're walking up the steepest incline of a dune and then going kilometers and kilometers on soft sand, and you're moving so slow because of that, because you can't get any grip with your feet. And that's when the heart rate starts pumping and you start really feeling it. So it really is a good mix, but go at your pace. I did it in 5 days, which is a little bit quicker than probably most people do it. Most people I was speaking to on trail did it 7+ days. Not to mention, I did it pretty rough in terms of I camped in all of the free campsites and 1 paid camping day. And a lot of people will actually hike maybe 10 kilometers, get picked up by a chauffeur or a service, go back to a nice hotel or caravan park, get a wash, get a clean, and then come back to trail the next day refreshed to do maybe 10 kilometers more. That's a nice way to do it. You'd probably enjoy yourself a lot more, but I set myself up for a challenge. Did I get any injuries? Yes, I did. I don't know what I did, but on day 2, I tweaked my knee. I twisted it pretty bad. There was no certain event that happened which caused it. It just started hurting all of a sudden, and it got worse and worse and worse, to the point where in the next day, it was getting so bad, I did start to question, am I all right? And will I be able to get through this? But I decided to keep hustling and keep pushing forward. I used a ton of Tiger Balm, massaged it out every night, and just really tried to rest and have as much sleep as I could at night to maximize my recovery, and I was okay. I practically limped 100 kilometers in a way, based on how early I did injure it. And it took me about a week after it for it to start feeling fine again. So luckily it wasn't anything lasting or too bad, but it was a mental game. What was all the wildlife I encountered on trail? Well, I've actually got a specific video, it's a YouTube short, where you can see every single one that I encountered because I videoed them. But essentially, I saw a giant goanna at the start, 4 snakes, as I've said, plenty of blue-tongued lizards, plenty of bearded dragons, tons of birds, and heaps of bugs. How did you sleep on trail? Not good. This is my first ever through hike, to be honest with you. But I was confident I could do it based on my fitness level, and I'm not afraid of being out in the wilderness, so to speak, and I've done some camping before. So I wasn't too worried. But at night, I just couldn't sleep. I was too hot. I'm probably used to a nice shower where you feel a little bit refreshed and you can get your muscles kind of feeling a bit better. I didn't have any of that opportunity. 5 days without a shower, I stunk. What are the towns like that you pass through? Awesome. They were the highlights of my trip, to be honest, because after hiking 20+ Ks, when you arrive to town and you can get like a can of Coke and a nice pie and sit back and relax in civilization, it felt pretty cool. Don't get me wrong, I love being out on trail, but it's those little comforts, those food comforts, which I really crave. And knowing that you can refuel up and really hydrate with the water and everything like that while you're at the town, it's awesome. I loved Yallingup Beach. Maybe I'm biased because it was my last day, so it was just like a magical kind of day. But it just looked so chill, seeing the surfers at the beach, Yallingup Lagoon as well, really nice place, and they were so nice. They let me recharge my devices. The locals were asking me questions and seeing how I was doing. It just felt like a very inclusive, fun place. Now let's go for another walk and we'll continue with the questions. Just a quick shameless self-plug as well. If you haven't already, head to Hike for Change on Instagram and give me a follow. Now I know a lot of you are going to be asking about gear, and I'm going to do a separate video where I break down every single thing I took, including the things I should have left behind because they were too much weight, and the things I probably needed as well. So if you get some value from that video, please hit the subscribe button below to make sure that you don't miss out when it comes. How did I get to the Cape to Cape? Great question. And where did I park? Well, I went to Cape Naturalist from Perth, which is about a 3-hour drive, and I parked at Cape Naturalist itself, the car park there. I let the lighthouse keeper know that as well. From there, I went to Dunsborough, which is 7 kilometers away from Cape Naturalist, and caught a Trans-WA bus to Augusta, which cost me $20. Book online if you want that. From there, I caught a taxi to the start point at Cape Leeuwin, which is also a $20 trip. and it's only about 7 kilometers away as well. So I started pretty late in the day, about 3:30 p.m., which is why in the video I was hiking in the dark for probably the last hour and a half till I got to Deep Dean campsite. All right, next question, and I'm probably going to do a part 2 as well because I still got a ton to get through. What did I do for navigation on trail? Biggest tip I can give you, get the Cape to Cape app. It is so handy and it works, the GPS works offline as well. It tells you exactly where all the towns are, where the water stops are, where all the toilets are, the campsites, and exactly how far you are from those points. Get it, it's worth it.